So you want to register your business overseas to take advantage of tax benefits. But how? What are the right steps? I'm Kalila Reynolds, and it's time for another episode of Money Moves, JA, brought to you in partnership with Exim Bank's Business Advisory Service, giving you the tools to grow your business. Joining me now to discuss how to register your business internationally, we have someone who's done it for his own business, co-founder of First Rock Capital Holdings, Reid.
Hi, Kalila. How are you doing?
Welcome to KRM Studios.
Yes, I love it. Good job.
So
good job.
And thank you for coming. I know you're a very busy man.
Yeah, man, I'm here. Once you call, I have to be there.
Awesome. All right, so let's talk. Registering your business abroad. You're the chairman and, is it chairman, CEO?
Co-founder and CEO.
Co-founder and CEO of First Rock Group. And you're registered in St Lucia.
Yes, we are.
And there are a lot of businesses or people who may be starting a business and thinking, maybe I should incorporate outside Jamaica too. So what led you to that decision?
So roughly about 3 years ago when, Michael Bamber and myself started, the First Rock Group, we wanted to structure the entities in a most efficient way. Efficient, from, one, an operational standpoint and also from a taxation standpoint, right? And what we did is that we engaged attorneys, we engaged accountants to find out, what's the best way to structure. So, that would be my first recommendation to any person who's looking to incorporate a business. Certainly engage attorneys, certainly engage accountants. And they indicated to us that St Lucia at the time proved to be a very attractive jurisdiction in which to register, some of our companies. And as such, we, moved to, engage an attorney in St Lucia, right? And that attorney effectively, would have incorporated the business and then, ultimately become our corporate or company secretary. And so it's very important for persons to understand, the pros and cons of, registering a business outside of Jamaica to ensure that you, receive whatever benefit you intend to receive.
I know things have changed in St. Lucia's laws in the past 2 years or so.
Yes.
But before we get to that, so is it primarily for tax purposes that one would consider registering outside?
Yes, for tax efficiency purposes, absolutely. Absolutely. That's a primary
What type
reason.
of tax benefits does one get?
So effectively and I'm not a tax, expert, but what I will say is that effectively, prior to this year, entities who are registered as an international business company in St. Lucia can elect to pay 1% corporate tax or zero, right? So you had two options. That has now since changed. And as such, entities that are being incorporated under what we call the IBC Act are now required to pay corporate taxes of 30% of income earned within St. Lucia and then zero on income earned outside of St. Lucia. So if you're incorporating your company in St. Lucia, then you then need to determine what sort of business activities you'll undertake there. And if there are business activities that are going to be undertaken there, then there are obviously tax considerations.
Right, but First Rock doesn't earn income in St. Lucia, does it?
First Rock has business activities in St. Lucia.
Okay, so the corporate tax structure isn't greatly affected by the change.
Correct.
Okay. So does it still make sense even after the change for somebody to consider a country like St. Lucia, Cayman, or somewhere
Barbados?
else?
No, absolutely. And I mean, it's really tied squarely to your intended business activities. So if you intend to take sort of a pan-Caribbean approach towards your business, then it makes absolute sense. Like for St. Lucia, if you expect or anticipate that your business activities will be largely in St. Lucia, then it might not make sense.
All right, so let's move on to the how, because that's another big question.
Yes.
How does one do that if you want to?
Well, as I indicated, initially, certainly engage an attorney in Jamaica. Most, corporate commercial attorneys, they have relationships in St. Lucia. And so what they'll do is that, get a full understanding of, what is it you want to achieve, and then they'll make the contact with the attorney over in St Lucia, whether through like a corporate services company, etc. So that's the direct process. In terms of cost.
Okay, so before we move to cost, so I don't have to go look for a St. Lucian attorney first. Find somebody in Jamaica
Correct.
first who
Absolutely.
does that type of work.
Absolutely.
And I'm looking for a corporate attorney specifically?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right,
Absolutely.
cost.
Yeah, so cost, so when we incorporated our entities, roughly, I think it was roughly about $2,500 for the incorporation, and this was roughly 3 years ago. Obviously, I'd expect that cost to go up, since it's 3 years ago, but it is not very expensive, I guess, relative to the business activities you plan to undertake.
Right, because I looked into it for my business,
Yes.
but it didn't make sense for us at the time based on our level of income.
I'm sure it makes sense now.
Well, the clause has changed now, so I don't
Yes,
know if
yes,
it's still,
yeah.
All right, so do I have to maintain an office in St. Lucia or another country?
So there is an act that was passed, or is being passed, I should say, in St. Lucia, which requires you to prove economic substance. So it requires you to, once you have an entity incorporated there, you must show that there is some sort of activities taking place there. So if it means having, an office, having an employee, etc. But, no longer, having it incorporated, having a file over there and then you're elsewhere. So some level of economic activity must take place there.
Right, so you do have to account for that.
Yes, absolutely.
At least now.
Absolutely.
What are the downsides?
I'm yet to see it. I'd say the only factor is, once you've structured your company in a certain way, which you have like a board of directors and so forth, then obviously board meetings and, your annual general meetings and so forth needs to take place there. So there are cost implications where that's concerned.
And how do the requirements compare to incorporating in Jamaica? Meaning you have to file certain things and...
Yes, pretty similar. Pretty
Very
similar.
similar.
Yeah, pretty similar.
Okay, so that seems pretty simple then.
Yes, yes.
And so far you see it's more pros than cons.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And do you get an impression, or do people get an impression that, oh, there's something wrong with a company that's incorporated outside Jamaica? They must be trying to hide something. Have you ever encountered that type of sentiment?
No, not at all. Not at all. I mean, it's a CARICOM treaty. Jamaica, like St. Lucia, is a member of CARICOM, and there are obviously benefits to doing business, across CARICOM, irrespective of where you're incorporated. So, I mean, that's not the view, at least from where we sit.
Well, a big money man, so...
No, not at all. Not at all.
So your view is from up high.
No. My view is from every vantage.
All right, thank you so much, Ryan. Much
Thank you so much for
appreciated.
having me. Good to be here.
All right. And here's a recap of some of Ryan's key points. Several countries, including St. Lucia, Barbados, and the Cayman Islands, offer tax incentives and greater tax efficiency for registering your business there. Research the pros and cons about registering a business in the country you're considering. Engage an accountant and corporate attorney in Jamaica who will make contact with authorities in the country where you wish to incorporate. That's it for this episode of Money Moves JA, brought to you in partnership with Exim Bank's Business Advisory Service, giving you the tools to grow your business. Visit their website at eximbankja.com and visit my website, KalilaReynolds.com, for a summary of this episode. You can click the link in the description box below. I'm Kalila Reynolds. Until next time.
Let's get this money.